What's up, Mavericks? Today we are talking towing capacity. We're going to be looking at travel trailers, we're going to be looking at fifth wheels, we're even going to be looking at motorhomes for those of you who flat tow a vehicle behind your RV. We want to look at all of these different lifestyles. Obviously, not towing with the right vehicle and towing at the wrong capacity can lead to tons of extra wear and tear, can be very unsafe. We don't want that. We want you to be able to own the road every time you venture out. So let's take a look at the most common situations you're going to run into. Let's get started. All right, let's start by talking travel trailers, because obviously those are going to be the lighter of the two types of RV that we have, travel trailers and fifth wheels. So the smallest kinds of travel trailers are going to usually range about 1,000 to 4,000 pounds dry weight. And you can actually get away with towing those with something mid-size like an SUV or a crossover. A lot of those vehicles have a towing capacity of around 5,000 to 6,000 pounds. And so that 1,000 to 4,000 pound travel trailer fits very nicely underneath. Once you start getting into medium-sized travel trailers, you're probably going to want to step up to something like this Ram here, maybe a 1500 series or an F-150, something like that. Some kind of half-ton truck is going to work really, really well, because those mid-sized travel trailers are typically going to range about 4,000 to 7,000 pounds. And then the largest travel trailers are typically going to be about 7,000 to 9,000 pounds. And for those, you probably want to step up again to a 3/4 ton truck, something like a 250 or a 2,500, something in that vein, to be able to tow those effectively. So what about fifth wheels? Because those are kind of a different animal. Even the smallest fifth wheels can be anywhere from about 7,000 to 10,000 pounds. So again, for those, you're probably going to want a 3/4 ton truck. Once you start getting into the medium and large fifth wheels, medium fifth wheels can range about 11,000 to 14,000 pounds, and then your luxury fifth wheels can go well above 14,000 pounds. So that's going to be about the maximum towing capacity of most vehicles on the market today. So really for those, you want something that's at the absolute top end, which is going to wind up being usually a dually truck of some kind. So a 3,500, a 350, or even heavier than that, a 450, 550, something of that nature, because you need the absolute maximum towing capacity to reach that 14,000 pound threshold. Another important thing to note while we're talking, all these weight limits, make sure that your towing vehicle, you're not towing at the top end of its capacity. So for example, if you are towing a 14,000 pound RV, make sure that you can actually tow well above that, 15,000, 16,000 pounds at least, because you don't want to be sitting right at the maximum towing capacity. You can cause a lot of wear and tear on your vehicle if you do. So make sure whatever RV you have, make sure whatever towing vehicle you have, that those two weights synchronize nicely and that you're well underneath the maximum towing capacity for your vehicle. Now, let's go look at motorhomes. All right, guys, so now we're talking motorhomes, and we've got three different types of motorhomes. We've got Class A, which are the big bus style motorhomes. We've got Class B, which are more of a camper van style. And then we've got Class C, which are kind of the mullet of motorhomes. They're the ones with the cab in the front, the motorhome in the back. So we've got those three different classifications, and the towing limit for all of those varies pretty drastically. All right, so let's start with Class B motorhomes, primarily because this is the easiest one to figure out. They're obviously the smallest of the three classifications. They've only got a towing capacity of about 5,000 pounds, which rules out a lot of cars because most consumer vehicles are anywhere from about 4,000 to 7,000 pounds. So there's just a lot of options that you can't tow with a Class B motorhome. You can sometimes get away with a smart car or a small sedan, but beyond that, you're going to be really, really limited. Class Cs are going to be the next step up. I know it's a little out of order here, but Class Cs are the next kind of tier up from a Class B motorhome. And they can tow anywhere from about 3,000 to 8,000 pounds, which is a pretty wild differentiation. So make sure if you're towing with a Class C motorhome, if you're in that 3,000 pound range, again, you're going to be pretty limited, probably more limited even than some Class Bs. But if you get up closer to that 8,000 pound limit, well, now you have a lot more options that open up for you. Class Bs are definitely a great medium-sized option, especially if you don't plan on towing a truck or something like that. Class Cs can be a great choice. And then last but not least, we have Class A motorhomes, which are the big bus style motorhomes. These actually vary pretty wildly based on whether or not you have a gas-powered or a diesel-powered motorhome, also called a diesel pusher. So for gas-powered Class A's, even though they're pretty big, you still only have a weight limit of about 5,000 pounds, which is actually pretty comparable to a Class B motorhome. Even though they're very different in size, they can tow about the same amount. Once you get to the diesel-powered variant of a Class A, you can tow anywhere from about 10,000 to 15,000 pounds, which obviously opens up pretty much any vehicle you could think of, even heavier style trucks, stuff like that. So if you do plan on towing a larger vehicle, a diesel-powered Class A is probably going to be the way you're going to want to go. It just tends to open up the most options. So obviously lots of great options out there, guys, whether you own a travel trailer, fifth wheel, motorhome. It doesn't really matter what your RVing lifestyle is. We hope this has been informative and helps you to understand your towing capacity better. Obviously, we want to help anywhere along your RVing journey that we can. We're called 4Mavericks. Our website is 4mavericks.com. Make sure to check that out. Or you can also stay tuned here on our YouTube channel. We're going to have lots more great content coming out in the very near future. In the meantime, Mavericks, stay bold, own the road. We'll see you here next time.